Saracens get the job done over Leinster, 25 points to 17. Leinster's undefeated run is over. It's the same team they fell to last time in the final. Brutal game. I'm a bit behind the 8 ball in it. This game was on at 2 o'clock in the morning here in New Zealand, so I chose to continue my sleep and have just got up first thing in the morning to watch this game without knowing the result. Thankfully, it's one of those times when you definitely don't want to get spoiled to the result because it was a climactic finish. My kids are out playing in the front yard with the missus, so if you hear screaming, it's not angry Leinster fans, it is just my children playing in the front yard. But I'm sure there'll be some pretty mad Leinster fans after this one. It was a bit of a brutal game, very much a game of two halves. There seemed to be a fair bit of wind in this one, affecting the way the game was played. But as always, I'll go over some of the key points of the game, come into some of the stats, and you guys can let me know your thoughts as well. Exchanging penalties early. Porter got penalised at the breakdown for Leinster, so Good kicked the penalty to make it 3-0. Connors put a chop tackle on Vunipola earlier, which was kind of why he was there, to stop big Billy V. But Leinster got one back. It was Porter actually making up for his being penalised at the breakdown. He won a penalty at the breakdown after Saracens had an exit play which didn't quite go right. Porter was able to get over the ball. As my kids, I can see them running out the window. I can see them through the window. They're not running through the window. So it was 3 points apiece early. However, the momentum kind of shifted Saracens' way, especially with the scrum as the game went on, and that will be maybe a point of contention for some, but the ref was seeing it the way he was seeing it, and it was going all Saracens' way. I think Leinster had one scrum penalty the whole game. The next Leinster penalty conceded, though, was Sexton not releasing. Again, it was a line-out move to Billy V. 6-3, and then Henshaw not releasing. And that was a poor Leinster pass. That one was kind of a self-inflicted one. Leinster had the ball in their own half. Some loopy ball pops out. They get caught way behind the gain line, so it's 9-3. And the wind was a bit of a factor. You could see in that first half especially. It's kind of one of those games where the pitch kind of seems tilted because it's mostly Saracens in the first half. It's mostly Leinster in the second half, just with that wind at their backs. But yeah, when Leinster won a penalty on 12 minutes, they didn't go for the sticks because into the wind it was like 35 metres, maybe a bit too much. They went for the corner. They went 10 plus phases, but Itoje managed to get an intercept. Was he offside? Or did McGrath just kind of take one moment too many when getting the ball out the back of that ruck? Maybe the latter. The high ball was causing problems for both teams. Lama had a couple of knock-ons from that one. Lewington got one earlier, but I think he knocked one on later. Maitland knocked one on, so it was tough. Maybe the wind was probably a bit of a factor in that as well. It was tough for guys to get a read on the ball. I wrote a note that there were no big gaps either way in this game, and that kind of continued. When I looked at the final stats, and I'll drop one now, the total number of clean breaks in this game was 3. 2 to Leinster, 1 to Saracens. So that doesn't happen all that often. So yeah, it was pretty much both teams being, I would say, quite defensively sound. Sexton, his kickoff didn't go 10 metres, but that was after a Saracens penalty from Daly, actually. It was at a scrum. It was on halfway, and with the wind at his back, scrum penalty conceded. Daly takes a long shot to make it 12-3. Then Sexton's kickoff, I was going to mention, doesn't go 10. It's another penalty, pretty much a gimme for Saracens. And again, this is a bit of loose play, just like not uncharacteristically, not clinical from Leinster. So 15-3. 15-3 is looking like quite a margin at that point. And 29 minutes, Leinster get a penalty at the scrum, actually. That was their only one of the game, I believe. They went for touch. They had a line out in Saracens 22. They got a penalty at the maul. They went again. They were 5 metres out. They went another maul. They got a penalty. Saracens get warned, and you think, all right, Leinster score here. Absolutely game on. But the third time they go for it, they lose the ball at the maul. Initially, the ref signals that the ball's coming to Leinster, but then he corrects and says, no, that ball's not coming out, and he gives it to Saracens. So they get out of jail for that one. Defence held pretty strong. The Saracens had a scrum on their own 5 metre line. Resulting from that, they won a penalty, so it's another kind of easy exit. When you look at the run meters in this game, Saracens only had 102 for the whole game. They were quite happy to win penalties and just either make their way up the field with the boot of their guys carrying them forward, or just to kick penalties. Man, it was pretty good stuff. 36 minutes, Good gets a try. 37. It's a line-out move, and the next phase after the initial contact, it's Duncan Taylor with a line break. He offloads to Good. He's got a bit of a step over, and it's 22-3. 22-3. Daly does have one final shot before halftime when they win another penalty at scrum time. It's like 63 meters. He's got the direction, but he doesn't have the distance. So halftime, 22-3. I'm looking at that going, man, 19 points. 19 points. How much is the wind worth? And how much is it that the scrum is costing Leinster? I'm thinking the wind is worth at least kind of like 10, but is the scrum going to cost Leinster? And actually, there weren't as many scrum penalties in that second half, but Saracens didn't have as much of the ball, it must be said. Second half, Leinster win a penalty from the kickoff. They go for touch, but Atoje wins a penalty. They bring on Baird and Kelleher pretty early. Toner and Cronin go off. 45 minutes, Daly takes a shot at a drop goal, and it misses. It goes short, and I'm thinking, that's not very assertive play. That seems to be a team which just kind of want to hold on, and you got to wonder how much gas is in the tank for Saracens at that point. And at that point, Leinster really seemed to get their tails up as well. After being pretty flat for the majority of that first half and under the whistle of the ref, Leinster really pick it up. They get a line break from Sexton, probably one of only two in the game. They get the... Oh, this is where Porter gets his try. My notes is really bad handwriting. Porter gets his try under the sticks. It's kind of an anticlimactic one because you weren't sure what had quite happened. The commentators are going, there's space out wide, and then they get the ball to Lama. Porter goes over. It looks like he's held up. The ref goes, no, I've seen a grounding. Can you just check if there's a double movement? They check it, and it's all good. So very key play for Leinster at that point, 22-10. And then 52 minutes, Leinster get a penalty again. They go for touch. It's 8 meters out. Van der Fleer comes on. The maul gets turned over. It's another one of those kind of get out of jail moments for Saracens. I don't know if it's Leinster. Were they just a touch off the boil? Are they not used to playing a team of Saracens caliber? It's probably a combination of the two. But where Leinster would normally pretty much be very comfortable of going in to get a try, they ended up turning the ball over. So yeah, Cian Healy goes off. There's a scrum, and the Saracens get another scrum penalty. I think that was either the fifth or the sixth one. 60 minutes, Sexton goes down. He takes a shot from Rhodes. The timing is okay. They ruled later on that he was taken high. Leinster had gone 28 phases and been turned over, but they go back for the penalty, and it's a pretty costly penalty as well. Sexton went down for quite some time. He gets back up though eventually. They put the ball into the 22 of Saracens. Jamison Gibson Park comes on and makes an immediate impact because from that resulting line out, they look like they're going to set a maul, but they quickly whip the ball out to the backs, and Lama finds himself in acres of space. Absolutely acres. Apparently it's his first try for quite some time. I hadn't quite realised that because he's always such an attacking threat. And at that point, it's 22-17. Only 5 points in it. All the momentum's with Leinster. Saracens have hardly been down the other half. That whole second half. They've been getting out of jail. They've been making tackles. They've been getting turnovers, winning scrum penalties, but they've been under the pump. It must be said. And it gets worse because Jamison Gibson Park finds acres of space with a box kick. And Saracens are just kind of looking all at sea at that point. And I'm thinking the bench is maybe going to be the difference. Jamison Gibson Park's come on. He's injected a bit of pace into the game. The other substitutes are probably going to see them through this because they've surely got a deeper bench than Saracens, with Saracens losing all those players in recent times. But it doesn't prove to be enough. In the final few minutes, Saracens' maul defense holds again. Good gets a penalty on 70 minutes, but he pushes it wide. Daly pushes one wide on 74, but eventually it's another scrum penalty, 78 minutes, and Good kicks that one to make it 25-17, and with that much time on the clock, it puts it beyond Leinster. So they only scored 3 points in that second half. They only scored 3 points in that first half. So like I mentioned, with that wind, it was tough going for the team playing right to left. But Saracens did more in that first half, and that scrum was really just able to get the job done. Final stats of the game: possession was 63-37. Territory was 66-34. Both of those in Leinster's favour. But again, if you're going to concede that many scrum penalties, it's not going to make that much of a difference. Run meters was 245 to 102. Again, in Leinster's favour. But look at penalties conceded: 15 to 10. And I think at least 7 of those are at scrum time. So probably around about half of the penalties. Leinster knocked on 10 times to Saracens 5. Remember, more possession kind of equates for more knock-ons. But total turnovers conceded, including those knock-ons, is 16 to 7. So Saracens just able to win the ball at the breakdown or get kind of maul turnovers. Really costly. Defenders beaten, and this one's quite an incredible stat. Leinster had 16. Saracens had 1, and I think it was Billy Vunipola. 1 defender beaten the whole game. You look at this tackling stat, 99%. I'm pretty sure I've never seen that ever. Leinster, I mean, they still lost the game, so it's all for naught. But man, 99%, 84 out of 85 tackles. 84 and 85. Saracens were also at an ordinarily phenomenal 92%, but in this case, 92 looks kind of low. But they made an incredible 177 tackles. Very much a game built on defence, a strong scrum, taking chances when they were on offer, even if they missed a few kicks towards the end. You'd have to say for Leinster, like Ringrose and Henshaw had a combined 7 run meters, so unable to really find much pay against Barrett and Taylor in that midfield. Sexton was the top dog with 50 run meters for Leinster, which when you've got the likes of James Lowe, as I mentioned, Ringrose, Henshaw, all these, like Lama, all these deadly attacking players, it's kind of a bit of a disappointing one. Healy conceded 5 penalties, Porter conceded 3, Ed Burden conceded 3. It was just very, very costly. If you look at some of the Saracens guys, George had 20 out of 21 tackles, Barrett had 13 out of 13, Cock had 18 out of 18. Toja had a ton. There were just tackles galore for that Saracens pack. So yeah, crazy, crazy game, man. Absolutely game of the two halves. Like I mentioned, it's one of those ones where it seems like the pitch is tilted because one side ends up scoring a bunch of points and then the other half it goes the other way. But ultimately, it looked like Leinster were going to get it done if they were going to be able to snatch a late try. But Saracens' defence was just too strong. Yeah, I've still got to go watch the next game. Clermont and Racing 92. Haven't seen that yet. So I'll go watch that now. And for this one, you guys can let me know your thoughts. If you're a Leinster fan, are you pretty mad? I don't know enough about scrums to comment about how that was being ref, but Saracens seems to be going forward quite a lot, to be fair. If you're a Saracens fan, how much does that mean to you? Because your season didn't have a lot going for it apart from this game, and they managed to get the result. They celebrated at the end when the ref blew the whistle, and the Saracens guys look like they won a trophy, to be fair, and it's a massive result for them. And then the ref says, oh no, there's 3 seconds to go, we've got to set a scrum. Man, just get on with it. Just call it. Doesn't matter. Nothing's going to change. Anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.